Are sending a very loud message. Less than a calendar year after he signed a 7-year contract with worth $54 million guaranteed, the Bears have decided to bench Jay Cutler and play Jimmy Clausen this week. That benched quarterback, just so you know, is the highest paid quarterback this season. Here's Adam Schefter on why.
When you bench your franchise quarterback and you bench him with 2 games to go in favor of a player who has not started in the NFL since 2010, you are sending a loud and unmistakable message that nobody is safe.
We didn't decide to come to work each day and work all year to be 5-9, but that's the present state of affairs. The quarterback's always going to be the guy to be looked at, no doubt about it. It's not where we need to be, but it's not all about Jay. It's about our entire offense, working together to get it done.
It's not all about Jay. He says he fell down on the job a little bit as well, Stephen A. So what do you make of this benching of Jay Cutler? You've been calling for it all year long. You've been done with him. But what do you make of the Bears actually benching him for the rest of the season?
Well, I think it's a combination, you all, of 2 things. Number one, too little, too late, because it should have happened weeks ago, number one. And number 2, and more importantly, I think the Chicago Bears are in CYA mode, cover your you-know-what. Because the fact of the matter is that I think Trestman needs to go. I think Phil Emery needs to go. I think Jay Cutler needs to go. Ownership for the Chicago Bears should clean house because it's been an absolute catastrophe as far as I'm concerned. When you consider the money that they're paying Jay Cutler, the highest paid offensive player in the game of football, for what? I understand that he's athletic. I understand that he has skills. I understand that he has a rifle of an arm. But there is something to be said for intangibles, your ability to galvanize the troops around you to lead, not just with your words, not just verbally, but by example. And the fact of the matter is that hasn't been Jay Cutler. I'm telling you right now, if I'm the ownership of the Chicago Bears, Phil Emery, the general manager, I want him sitting in my office and I want him to explain to me, what was it that you saw in this guy that deserved a $100 million contract? Were you not watching him in practice? Did you not watch how people responded to him? Did you not watch his ability to lead and whether or not he had those intangibles that come with it? Were you not paying attention? Trestman is supposed to be Mr. Fix-It when it comes to quarterbacks. I know everybody wants to talk about Trestman, knows the game of football. I don't want to hear that. Nobody's challenging his knowledge, his acumen when it comes to football. We all understand that by and large, coaches that coach on the NFL level know a thing or two about X's and O's, otherwise they wouldn't be in those positions. But you have to be a leader of men. You have to be able to inspire. You have to be able to peel and maximize whatever level of talent and intangibles and so on that somebody has inside of them. Trestman has not proven the ability to do that. When you fail to live up to what got you the job, then we've got a problem. We've talked about Jay Gruden in the past, Skip, with the Washington Redskins. My only question about him is, did he get the head coaching job for the Redskins because he marketed himself as somebody that could fix whatever ailed RG3? If that's how he got the job, he should go too. Whatever your job description entails, you have an obligation to live up to it. Jay Cutler has not lived up to it. He's barely ever lived up to it since he's arrived in Chicago. He had 1 good year, and that's about it. And as far as I'm concerned, everybody that points to these other things, well, being diabetic or whatever it is and it having something to do with his moods. And listen, I respect that because I'm not knowledgeable about that, and I'm going to take folks at their word and lean on their expertise when they say it can affect your moods, how you communicate with people, etc. But in the end, if that's playing a role in your inability to do your job, then that's problematic too. So no matter which way you slice it, whether it's legitimate health concerns, whether he's just a moody individual, whether he's just somebody that's incapable of leading or whatever the case may be, with Brandon Marshall, with Alshon Jeffrey, with Matt Forte, with Martellus Bennett, Jay Cutler has been a shell of the quarterback he was supposed to be. And because of that, he deserves this benching. It was long overdue, and if they're really smart, they'll get rid of him. Because if you know anything about the city of Chicago, which you do, Skip, because you work there, you know once they're done with you, they're done with you. And they are clearly done with Jay Cutler, as they should be.
So you think it was a good move to bench Jay Cutler right now with 2 games remaining?
I think they should have done it weeks ago, and I think they should get him out of town as quickly as they possibly can. If I could withhold his paycheck, I'd do that too, because I think he's done nothing.
Okay, I want to be clear about what I'm about to say. I was clear with you after the second game of this year when some called what Jay Cutler did at San Francisco in a Sunday night game his signature game of his time in Chicago. He threw 4 second-half touchdown passes, no interceptions. They pulled off at that point, shocking win at Santa Clara against the 49ers, who had won convincingly on opening day against my Cowboys. And I still told you the next week, and I still wrote for ESPN.com, I am done with the guy from my school, Vanderbilt University. I've seen enough. I don't trust it. I don't buy it. It's time for the Bears to move on because he's never going to amount to what they have paid him to amount to. We've talked all about the body language, the lack of leadership, just the general lack of caring enough about winning football games. Now, to yesterday. I'm not buying what the Bears did yesterday, Stephen A., because I don't get it. Strategically, it makes no sense to me. To me, it comes off as nothing more than a PR move by the McCaskey family that owns and operates the Chicago Bears. It's a panic move. It's a desperation move. It's just throwing a little tiny bone to your fandom to say, okay, we know how bad we are, and we know we just humiliated you on a Monday night stage against the New Orleans Saints, and we know he was pathetic again, so you know what? We're going to bench him. Help me out here. If, in fact, your goal is to trade him, which would be the easiest and most profitable way out from under the record contract that you gave him, making him the highest paid player in the NFL this year, you need to maximize your leverage. So if, in fact, you're going to shop him when the season is over, you have to let him play the last 2 games and just hope against hope that he has one of those good Jay Cutler games, which we know he is highly capable of having. So they play the Detroit Lions, one of the top defenses at home this weekend. What if Jay Cutler had a good game? Wouldn't it up his ante a little bit more for the Bears? Wouldn't it increase their leverage just a little bit more? Then they go to Minnesota. Could he have a good game there? He could. Again, they're out of it. They're 5-9. But why would you bench him now in favor of a Jimmy Clausen who has no future in the league as a starting quarterback? If you told me you had a rookie that you kind of liked, even a 3rd or 4th round pick, and you said, we want to see what the kid can do, I get that. But it's not Jimmy Clausen. I was on record before the draft. I never liked Jimmy Clausen when he was at Notre Dame. He's not a starting quarterback. So now you are attracting the national spotlight on the problem that you caused yourself by giving him this huge contract. Everybody's talking about how bad Jay Cutler is, and it can only hurt you in shopping him for trade after the year. Now, if you're going to cut Jay Cutler, which would really handicap you against the salary cap over the next 3 years, God bless you. Then go ahead and cut him. You should cut him today. That would be the move to make today. Just cut him. Send him on his way. That would be a statement. But generally, I think you're just trying to appease the masses in Chicago. And remember, I've told you, at heart, at soul, Chicago is a Bears town. Yeah. And they had high hopes going into this year with the newly signed Jay Cutler and the quarterback whisperer that is Mark Trestman and all those weapons you just detailed around Jay Cutler. Hopes were running amok. They were running high and hot. And now they have sunk. People have gone from just disillusioned to outraged over this, Stephen A. So you gave them a little bone here, but I'm not sure it hurts you or helps you in the near run here, the longer run, which is to trade Jay Cutler.
Well, what I'm saying to you, Skip, is that I don't necessarily disagree with that. Like I told you, they're in CYA mode.
Yep.
Cover there, you know what. We understand that. That's exactly what they're doing. But really, you know, the preseason report, Skip, highlights everything. If you remember, if you read all the aficionados and what they were saying, they talked about the 7-year, $126 million contract that was given to Jay Cutler. And what they wrote in those reports, those magazines, etc., was that Chicago is hoping that by signing Jay Cutler to this contract, giving him long-term security, combined with the receiving corps that he has at his disposal, that he will join the ranks of the elite quarterbacks in the game. I'm sorry, Skip. I thought when you got that kind of money, it's because you were amongst the elite in the game. Not that they would give it to you in hopes that you do. I thought only Jerry Jones did that when it came to Tony Romo, but evidently not so, because the Chicago Bears were of the mindset that we're hopeful that Jay Cutler will elevate to this level if he got the money. So by making this move, what you're basically saying is you're conceding to the public, you're right in the negativity you've been spewing in his direction. We missed the boat on this. We want you to know that we see what you see, which in fact leans on the PR angle that you touched on.
Yep.
That's why if I'm ownership, they all got to go. Because to me, this is not a Jay Cutler issue. It's a Jay Cutler issue. It's a Mark Trestman issue. It's a Phil Emery issue, or whoever insisted that Jay Cutler get that money. Now, to me, the only reprieve that they may have is if Trestman was against it, Phil Emery was against it, and ownership said we want to give Jay Cutler this money. Then it's not on them. Yeah. But if that's not the case, and they came to ownership with the recommendation to make this kind of investment into Jay Cutler, they need to clean house.
Okay, so do you think they will try to trade him, or do you believe they'll just flat out cut him?
I think they'll try to trade him, because I think that bottom line is if you could get rid of him. First of all, there's a sucker born every minute in sports. That's number one. Let's get that out of the way. Secondly and more importantly, there are, listen, Jay Cutler, there are 10 teams that could use a Jay Cutler. Maybe not at that price, but there are 10 teams that could use him. I mean, he's not the worst quarterback in the game.
Yeah.
He's just not a winner.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. He's got skills. I mean, he's somebody that could do some good things, but he's not a winner. He's not the guy. He's not the reason you are going to win games. And it wouldn't be that big of a deal if he wasn't the quarterback. But when you're the quarterback and somebody can say that about you, it's just bad.
Yep.
At that price?
Yeah.
Now, if it's somebody that ain't making that money, that's different. But at that price, at that position, if you're not a primary reason why teams are winning games, you're relatively useless to me. And I think that Jay Cutler is useless. Really, I'm serious.
All right, so Skip says cut him if they really want to send a message. Meantime, in between time, what's the likelihood of that happening? We'll discuss more about Jay Cutler. Herm Edwards will join us at the bottom of the hour.